Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging hour discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Joe Kuchera, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate. He also offers real estate tax management strategies, new construction advice, home improvement tips, and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host and Real Estate Radio Live team leader, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Welcome in, Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. That's right. If you're listening to this, you're hearing this, hopefully you're thinking, what happened? I am back and very excited to work with KDOW, the Wall Street Business Network show again. Real Estate Radio Live will be back with you every single day, Monday through Friday from 3 to 4. Be sure to tune in, KDOW 1220 AM. Great to be back. Really, really excited. We've got a lot of feedback over the last month when we made the announcement we were coming back that a lot of the listeners, the show that went on for almost 7 years, that it's good to be back, and we got a lot of great feedback, and we look forward for the next several years to continue to do what we think we did best. What we did, we started the show almost 8 years ago, and the focus, ladies and gentlemen, was that we would hopefully help to educate and inform you, the consumer, to help you become a more wise consumer in and around your real estate, and whether that's buying, selling, financing, constructing, designing. Our focus was always the same, and we'll continue that. So we'll continue to have great guests, good content, information really to pass on, with the main objective is always to educate you, the consumer, to help you become a more wise consumer, not to become an expert. We've said that. You'll hear me say that a lot. If you're an expert, that's great. We have a lot of experts out there, but most of you are busy with your businesses, your jobs, your life, and you don't want to be an expert, but you do want to be educated, is what we're being told, and what we understand is that you want to understand more with the dynamics of the changing market, and we'll continue to bring that information to you. So I'm very, very excited to be back, and if there's anyone out there listening that they're saying, God, I recognize this voice from somewhere, feel free to call in, say hi, feel free to call in if you have a comment, statement. As usual, anything about real estate, whatever's on your mind, you could reach us at 1-800-516-1220. That's 1-800-516-1220 if you want to call in, if you have a question, or if you want to say hi, or just welcome back. That'd be great. It's good to be back. I want to take a minute, too, to thank the whole leadership team, the executive team, and everybody at KDOW 1220, Salem Broadcasting, great group of people that we worked with to get back on the air, and super excited going forward to do the show again Monday through Friday from 3 to 4. Tune in, KDOW 1220 AM. So a couple other things I want to make sure I update everybody with. We're really excited about. So one of the things we're going to be doing starting in the next couple of days, every single day when we do the live shows, we're going to do a live streaming show. So while you're listening to this show via the radio or wherever you are, you're also going to be able to follow the show and listen to it live on social media, Facebook. You'll be able to follow the show. That is just the way, that the best way to communicate today, and to really get the majority of resources out to people. A lot of people are online. A lot of people are moving back and forth from their mobile device on the go, don't have access to a radio sometime, or can't necessarily do that. So exciting to announce again, you'll be able to follow us during the show from 3 to 4. You could also follow us live. We'll be live streaming the show every single day from 3 to 4 on Facebook. You could tune in. The great part about that, too, is you could also chime in, ask us questions via the streaming network. You could ask us questions that way. We could interact. You could call in. In other words, what we want to do is make it more interactive. We want to make the show really give you more options as a consumer to not only listen to the show but interact with us, give us your feedback, all those things. So in order to do that, we're putting more time, resources, and money into platforms that allow you to do that. Again, the radio show will be ongoing from Monday through Friday from 3 to 4. Every day you could tune in from KDOW 1220 AM. Secondly, it'll be streaming live on Facebook, social media, so you could follow us that way if you'd like. Any more information, you can always go to our website. That's reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. You could get more information that way. If you want to email me, it's joe@reradiolive.com. Again, that's joe@reradiolive.com. If it's off hours, I'll get people used to this again. If it's off hours, you need to reach me. You could email again or text or call at 408, 838-9060. Again, that's 408-838-9060. So to give you a little idea, we have a guest that's going to be calling in at 3:30 today, Kathy Fetke. She's with Real Wealth Network. She's a great gal, really an expert in investment real estate, mostly outside of California. But she's going to also give us some insight on what happened recently with the, with all this information that took place in regards to Equifax. I think most of you have probably seen this in the news. She's going to give us some insight and some feedback on what happened, how you could protect yourself, and much, much more. Kathy's always a great guest. But before Kathy shows up, I just want to really go over a couple different things since we're back on the air to remind you, give you an idea of what's going to be happening here with Real Estate Radio Live in the future, in the near future and going forward. We have some exciting stuff underway. We already talked about the live streaming. Really excited about that. Secondly, we're starting a series where over the next couple of months you're going to hear interviews by startup real estate companies. So online, the real estate industry in general is really under attack. I'll call it under attack, maybe is a strong word, but it's being disrupted just like a lot of industries in the United States right now. And the real estate industry is not going to be any stranger to that. There's upwards of $3 billion a year going into startup capital to changing the real estate industry the way that works. Most of you may not see much of it right now, but you will see in the next 2 to 5 years. I think you'll see a big difference in a lot of the way you transact real estate. I really do. Some people will say, well, it's Joe, it's always been this way. It's going to be this way, and I would disagree 100%. So I'm excited. We're going to have a series of interviews with venture capital firms that invest their money into these startup companies. And we're also going to have several interviews where I'm going to be interviewing executives, CEOs, directors, different people from the actual startup companies that are running these companies to give you, the consumer and the industry, kind of an idea of what's going on, the direction. There are, at least 20 different models out there that are trying to take shape in disrupting the real estate industry. Some of them, in my opinion, you'll hear a lot. I do a lot of research on this day in and day out. So you'll hear my opinion on some of them. I think some of them won't work at all, just my opinion. I think some of them do have some legs and some benefits that I see. And I do think there's a couple different models that are going to take hold and do quite well. So stay tuned for that. And also on the lending side, lending is what I do. Most of you don't. If you forgot or you recall again, that is my industry. I work in residential financing. That's how I make my living, and that is certainly changing as well. How people access money, financing. So the entire transaction, so to speak, in real estate is going to be changing over the next couple of years. And so, what I will bring to Real Estate Radio Live is new information, update information, and information that may sound strange to some or may think, boy, the reason I want to do this is because one of the things that I get excited about, that I'm interested in, and I think most people are, is not to hear the same old stuff. I mean, seriously, anybody could read statistics. Sure, we'll talk about statistics sometimes. We'll do that. Some people want to know how many houses sold and what's the inventory and all those things. I'm not saying they're not important, but we'll share those things with you. But I think what's more important And the research that we do, what I hear, is that what's really going on, what's changing, what can I expect to see in the lending industry in the next couple of years? What can I expect to see in the real estate industry in the next couple of years? Is it going to be going online? Are real estate agents going away altogether? Are loan officers going away altogether? Are robots going to be showing us houses and doing loans? You know, all kinds of stuff that's going on in that I'm going to be sharing with you guys, the consumers out there. And we do have the great thing about our audience, too, is we have a fair amount of people in the real estate lending and the real estate industry that follow the show. And thank you for that. I have some wonderful people out there that follow the show, support the show, and I appreciate that very much. So it's a real interesting dynamic that's taking place. So what you could expect from me and Real Estate Radio Live for the next several months going forward into 2018 is really fresh information, new information, futuristic stuff that we're going to talk about that could change the way real estate is the transactions that take place over the next several years. And you'd be surprised at some of the stuff. Some of the stuff maybe you won't be. But that's really my goal. That's my objective. I wanted to give you an overview to kick off the show today. I'm excited again to be back. Really love the show. Love the feedback. We have so many wonderful callers, emails that constantly come in about how much they appreciate the show. And the one thing I'll say before we take our first break here is the one comment that I get more than anything, by far, over the years, it's this. It's something like, Joe, great show, great guest, I've learned something, loved, I didn't know about that, you taught me something, I feel more educated now. And what I love hearing that is that that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help you, the consumer, become a wise consumer, more wise consumer, so that you make better choices when you do your financing or your purchasing or you do anything with real estate. And that is the goal. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to continue the conversations. I'm going to have some more information for you. I'm going to talk about an exclusive live event that's going to be taking place this Thursday in Los Gatos at the Toll House Hotel. And when I come back, I'm going to share more about that and what else you could expect going forward with Real Estate Radio Live. This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Great to be back. We'll be back with you in just a couple minutes.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com.
Hi, this is Joe Kuchera of Real Estate Radio Live. Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We are your go-to resource for all aspects of real estate, including buying, selling, refinancing, building, and legal and tax advice, and much more. You can subscribe to Real Estate Radio Live podcast on iTunes and Stitcher to listen to an engaging discussion about anything and everything real estate. So make sure you get our app, RE Radio Live, in the iTunes store to follow the show.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Again, great to be back with you. Took a little time off, and we are back live on the radio from 3 to 4 every day on KDOW 1220 AM. Be sure to tune in. And for those that are rusty out there thinking, God, what am I going to do between 3 and 4? Well, you don't have to worry now. You're set. You're good. 3 to 4, you have something to listen to. Also, as I mentioned, the first segment, we're going to be doing the show live streaming going forward on Facebook, social media, so you'll be able to catch us that way. More exposure, more information, really just gives you, the consumer, more opportunity to watch the show, listen to the show, see our guests, see the interaction that takes place in the studio here. It's kind of fun. That'll be a good, fun thing to do. So we're looking forward to that for sure. Couple different things. Just a reminder, if you want to call in, if you have any questions, since the show is live again, you could reach us during this time period, 1-800-516-1220, 1-800-516-1220. Give us a call today if you have any questions maybe anything about real estate, doesn't matter. We're going to be here answering questions during the live show. Of course, as always, calls are important. Love to hear from you. If you want to email, Joe at reradiolive.com, Joe at reradiolive.com. You can always visit our website at reradiolive.com. Very important, though, for those that, can't see the live show, one of the reasons we do so many different things with this content, ladies and gentlemen, is so we could provide you the options. And options are good for busy people, I believe, and we want to try to respect you and your time. So that's the reason we have really three ways you could listen and interact and watch the show. One was the live show, right? From 3 to 4, you could listen, tune in live on the radio. The other one is you have the ability to watch us streaming live, social media, Facebook, those things. You could jump on anytime, interact, listen to it, interact with the show. The third one is a podcast. So this content from the radio show will become our podcast, which we've been doing for over a year now, and that's growing rapidly. We have thousands and thousands of downloads each month. Really excited about the growth of the podcast. So be sure to catch the show any way you can. And the reason we do this, again, is to give you options to listen to the show and hopefully, continue to get benefits from this information. So you can listen to the podcast. If you go to our website, reradiolive.com, you could download the podcast. You go to iTunes. You could also do it there. So either iTunes or RE Radio Live, if you go to either one of those sites, you could download the podcast. It's Real Estate Radio Live. Type it into your little search mechanism, and it'll come up, and you can go ahead and download the podcast and follow us, take us anywhere you want to go. And so that's the objective. And really what I wanted to do, the first part of the show today, is really familiarize everybody out there what you could expect. I'm excited to do the live show again, but I'm even more excited to say that we're more prepared to spread the word and get more exposure for everybody's benefit by the live streaming, and the podcast will continue to do as well. So lastly, again, download the podcast, reradiolive.com, or you could go to iTunes and do that. All right, we have a guest coming on at 3:35 approximately, Kathy Fetke. She is with Real Wealth Networks. Great gal, super brilliant, intelligent in terms of real estate investments, although today we're going to talk a little bit about the Equifax Fiasco and all the things that took place around that. She is a real estate expert as well. And as I mentioned, the first segment, I'm really excited over the next couple of months. We have a series that are going to be taking place, the future technology in the real estate and lending industry. I'm going to be interviewing a lot of venture capitalists that are investing money in the market and to disrupt the real estate industry. And then I'm also going to be talking to a lot of executives that are running these very same companies, startup companies, that are mostly online driven. And so I'll get into more details of those over the next couple of months. Very excited to do that. All right, the other thing I want to bring up today, really excited. Most of you know that we used to do, sometimes monthly, quarterly live events. It gives people the opportunity, not only in the industry, but to consumers to come out, visit us, watch the show live, have some fun, meet some people, eat some food. All that stuff's free. The magic number, that's right, the magic word, I should say, free. And so we want to invite you, anyone, we're going to be having a mixer this Thursday. The live show will, again, of course, start at 3 o'clock. It's at the Toll House Hotel in Los Gatos. If you want more information, look that up. We're going to be at the Verge restaurant within the hotel. And we've set up, it's a real fun event. We do the live radio show. I'm going to have some great guests. I'm going to have a vice president from New American Funding that will be there joining us. I'm also going to have the two founders from Century 21 M&M, John Milo and and Larry Matos. Those two gentlemen will be joining me live on the radio show at the mixer from 3 to 4, as well as Frank Fuentes. He is the vice president of multicultural lending with New American Funding. All three of these gentlemen will be at the event. I'm going to be interviewing them on the show, and that's from 3 to 4. And then from 4 to 6, what we do is we have a mixer, and there's a bunch of appetizers brought out that allows people to meet each other, talk to each other, and just really engage and interact. So love to see any of you, the consumers out there. I know you have busy lives, but I'd love to see any of you show up, come in, say hi, tell us what you think, anything. We'd love to meet you. Again, this Thursday, September 28th, 3 to 4, the live show, 4 to 6, the mixer. It's at the Toll House Hotel in Los Gatos. It's on Santa Cruz Avenue here in Los Gatos, but for more information, you could go to the website, reradiolive.com, or you could even call in or email if you have any more questions about that for sure. All right, so I want to move on a little bit. Again, after the next segment, I think it's the next segment, actually, we're going to have Kathy call in. But before we duck out for the second break here, I just want to remind everyone, right now, rates are still very, very good. We have a housing market. I'm going to just briefly, we have a housing market that's really super low inventory. If you're anywhere in the Bay Area listening to this show, you know that the inventory is low almost everywhere. And so what that means is certainly it's a seller's market. And what it also means, it's an extremely tough time for buyers. So I'm also going to be giving some ideas and tips in the next couple of weeks for buyers, sellers. We're going to have experts on. We're going to just fill you with a lot of great information, I hope, to help you make these wise decisions. So with a market like this where the inventory is so low, it's a tough time for buyers. The reason why is, buyers are getting outbid. In some cases, there's 15, 20, 30, 40 offers, and they're running up the price. You're seeing homes in certain areas. Again, I'm just giving examples that went on the market for $1.2 million and it ended up selling for $1.5 or $1.6 million. There's some crazy things going on right now in the real estate market. There really is. But here's what you have to do, in my opinion. Educate yourself. Make sure you're working. You'll hear me talk a lot about this, and I'm going to be very, very serious and straightforward on a lot of stuff some people may not want to hear, but I'm going to say it anyway, and that is make sure you're working with a professional, someone that really knows what they're doing. And you need to do that anytime, but more so right now in a market where you need someone that understands these markets. You really do. Let me share something with you. I may have heard this before. People hear it if you follow the radio show or follow the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, think about this. Roughly 10% of all real estate agents do 90% of the business. Let that sink in for a moment. 10% roughly, it's a little less, but let's just call it 10% roughly do 90% of the business nationwide. No different in this area. So wherever you're listening to this show, understand that in any market you're in, roughly 10% of the agents do 90% of the business. The reason why I want to bring this up, and I want to make sure you understand this, is that means if you meet with 10 real estate agents, there's a chance that only one of them is really qualified to help you in the best way possible. Now, those are easy statistics and numbers, right? But here's the challenge. You might meet someone, and you might think, God, great person, love this person, we really hit it off. But be careful. It's not a social dating event. You want someone that could help you sell a home or help you buy a home. If you want a friend, find a friend. Get a friend. But if you want to save money and make sure you're making a wise decision in real estate, get someone that knows what they're doing. Yeah, you want to be able to mix and match with them. You want to be able to click with them. I understand that. But more importantly, I just can't stress it enough. You need to find someone that is going to help you in a difficult market like this. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, I think we're going to have Kathy on the line, and we're going to talk about Equifax and a couple other things. This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Glad to be back with you. We'll be back to continue in just a couple minutes.
For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Again, your host for Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Excited to be back on the air live. And welcome. Good to be back. Good to have everybody tuning in. Hopefully we'll continue to grow that audience and keep things moving real quickly. Again, we have a lot of great stuff coming your way. But before we get going for the next topic, and we do have Kathy is going to be calling in here soon as a guest. We're going to chat. But I think we have Peter from Fresno on the line. Peter, are you there?
Yeah. How are you today?
Hey, Peter, I'm doing well. Yourself?
Hey, great to have you back on the air, man.
Thank you, Peter. It's nice for you to say. I appreciate that.
Hey, so I'm thinking of buying an investment property in San Leandro, California.
Uh-huh.
And it's a single-family house. It's about $600,000, and it's 3 bedrooms, 1 bath.
Okay.
And it needs about $20,000 worth of work on it. And so basically, looking at the numbers, doesn't look like I'll have too much of cash flow positive. Maybe break even, maybe make a few $100 a month. But my main play on the house is that if I fix it up a little bit and, maybe put it back on the market in a year or two.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, Peter, the tough part about cash flow in this area is tough. But if you have a different strategy or thought process on what you want to do, San Leandro, Hayward, a lot of these areas over there, which, a lot of people didn't think about over the last couple of years, I think are great times to buy, and especially if you get something at that price range. As you know, the rents are high almost everywhere. We have a shortage, really, of housing, so you're going to have strong rents, too. And I think it's a good play, as long as you know that you're not going to have this great positive cash flow, depending on how much money you put down. But I do think it's a good idea. I really do. And you keep it for a couple of years, see what's going on in the marketplace, and, maybe if you continue getting some appreciation, you sell it and maybe 1031 into something else, or maybe you keep it for a little while longer. It's some good options. I think it's a good move. Do you have other investment property, or would this be your first?
No, I have a few others.
Good, really good. Where are the others, if you don't mind me asking?
They're also in San Leandro.
Okay, so you know the area then.
Yeah, so on this street, I'm not familiar with the street, but on this street, this house has come on for $600K. And the house, a couple of houses down, which is only an extra 200-300 square feet, that house sold for almost $150K more, But this one is a little of a fixer-upper.
Okay, well, I think that's where you want to get them. Now, is this on the market yet, Peter, or are you going to have an insight to try to get it before, or what's the status of it? Yeah,
the agent called me and asked me if I was interested. This house would be in the market in the next few weeks.
Wonderful. So you have a good agent that's keeping an eye out for things for you, and you guys have a good relationship, sounds like.
Yeah, we have. My main question, Joe, since you have so much experience and I really like your show, my main question is, how do you see the San Leandro Hayward market for the next couple of years?
Well, I do. I'm not just saying this because you're calling. One of the things that are you still there, Peter? I don't know if I think he dropped the call. Sorry about that, Peter. If you get a chance, call back because you have a great question, and I do have some answers for you. I'm going to go over some of the things I think about as some areas that are going to be smart investments over the next couple of years. And so hopefully we get Peter back on the line. Give us a call, Peter, 1-800-516-1220, and we'll get you back on the line and talk a little bit about that. And we're waiting for Kathy to get on the line. She'll probably be calling in a couple of minutes. But let me go ahead and answer Peter's question before he calls back, or if he calls back, or in waiting for Kathy. So Peter's question was, before he dropped off, was that, do I think San Leandro, Hayward, or an interesting or, a place to be investing? Absolutely yes. Just like if you followed my show a year or so ago, I was talking about downtown San Jose. I was an example. If you go back and listen to my podcast and radio show, I've been talking about downtown San Jose now for the last year or so, why it's a good investment. And the reason why I was talking about it a year or so ago had nothing to do with knowing Google was coming down. There were these other ones. But what I did know, because I research this stuff every single day and follow these markets, is that there was no more place to build or go for high tech in Sunnyvale, Mountain View, Palo Alto, all these different places. There was no more place for them to go. And for me, it was clear. When you look at the market, you see that the only place available, one of the only places available where companies could still expand and grow was downtown San Jose. And so guess what's going on now? Now the train has left the track. I still think there's some areas in downtown San Jose that would be good buys. I still think it's good. But the train's left the track because now everybody's talking about downtown San Jose because Google's coming. And I don't say that really to tell you that I have all the answers as much as I say it is that I follow this stuff every single day. I research this every single day. I come on air and I go into the podcast and I'm going to provide you, guarantee you, with information and data that's going to help you either make decisions, hopefully better decisions in and around your real estate. So to answer Peter's question, yes, Hayward specifically, and I think San Leandro are good places to invest right now. I really do. If you look at the maps around us, right, everybody's, the Silicon Valley was inundated. Up in the peninsula, inundated. And so what's happening now, if you look at this map, it's almost like lava. If you could picture lava moving down through the hill in an area. The lava now has inundated the Silicon Valley, South Bay, the peninsula. So where's the lava going to flow now? Now it's going to flow on the outer sides. It's going to flow into places like Oakland where it already started. It's going to flow into Hayward, San Leandro, more into Fremont that already has. And then on the south part, it's going to flow more into Morgan Hill and Gilroy. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to flow more and more. I know people are really apprehensive about this, what I'm about to say, but the Central Valley is going to they're going to be the beneficiary of a lot of this now because they have better public transportation from the Central Valley now back this direction. So you're going to see Tracy and Stockton and some of these other places where someone might go, oh, my God, I don't know about that. But, some people may even make the choice to commute again because they could, buy a little bit more for their house. And if in a day and age, too, ladies and gentlemen, where there's, a lot of people could work out of their home or virtual, this is going to become more of a reality. So, Peter, if you're listening, thank you again for the call and the kind words. I appreciate that very much. But, yes, I would say thumbs up for San Leandro. I'd say thumbs up for Hayward. And you're going to get a little bit better pricing, believe me, over in those areas than you are in Oakland now, even, because Oakland's going to take on a new look. It already has. Oakland's got overflow from San Francisco. So, yes, Hayward, San Leandro would be a couple of the places I would definitely take a look at in that area. And again, the other place, even though the word's already out and everybody's talking about it, I've been talking about it for a year and a half, downtown San Jose. I think there's still some areas in downtown San Jose, if you went down and looked, you think, oh, my God, I don't know about that. But you have to look at real estate as a futuristic. You have to look at it as a visionary and really look at the rents, the investment, and then do some forecasting and get an idea what that might look like 5 to 10 years from now. And I would also try to get your hand on a multi-unit property. One of the things I wish I would have done, I didn't, is focused more years ago on, duplex, fourplex, maybe partnerships to get into apartments, those types of things. Matter of fact, Kathy Fetke's an expert in that area. She does a lot of that. But so definitely keep an eye on these things. I know some people get discouraged because they feel like, God, man, these prices are crazy. Will I ever be able to invest? Yeah, there's always opportunity. Depends on how much you want to spend, where you want to spend it. Doesn't always have to be in California. Doesn't always have to be in, in the Bay Area, for sure. But, there's opportunity. There's always going to be opportunity. So, Peter, if you're out there, if you want to call back, give us a call, 1-800-516-1220. If there anyone's out there, we have another, 12, 15 minutes. We are expecting Kathy to call in, and we're going to chat with her a little bit. But always love your calls. 1-800-516-1220 if you have any questions about real estate. We are back and very excited to be back on the air. So to do that Monday through Friday from 3 to 4, you could tune in, KDOW 1220 AM. All right, I think we may have Kathy on the line, or at least connected. Kathy, are you there?
I am. Hello.
Hey, Kathy. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Well, you look at you're a special guest today because we are back live for the first time almost in a year back on KDOW 1220 AM, and I guess it couldn't be asked for a better guest since Kathy's got all this radio experience herself. So welcome back in, Kathy.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just talking earlier in the show. We're excited because we're going to be able to bring the content, in so many different ways now, Kathy. The radio's one, the live radio, but I don't think that's enough. And so that's why we do podcasts, and we're also going to do live streaming, social media on the show, and a number of different other things and try to reach as many people as possible. So we're excited about those different options for people.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm excited to be a part of it.
So, Kathy, you talk a wealth of networks. It's a perfect name for your company because you're always a wealth of knowledge and information when you come on the show. An investor, you've been doing this a long time. You watch markets, you invest, you have groups of people, you have all kinds of things going on. But I think today we're going to talk a little bit about maybe the incident recently with Equifax and what took place there. Do you want to just give the consumers? We got about a quick overview because we have to duck out for a minute. We're going to come back and we can finish up though.
Sure. Well, there was an Equifax breach, and private personal information. Really, everything needed to steal your identity was stolen from Equifax. I think it was 1/3 of the country was affected by this, at least, possibly more. And so you've got to find out if if you've been affected, and there are ways to do that. There's lawsuits now against Equifax, but they are offering free service to have your credit checked to see if anybody's using it.
All right. We're going to come back. Thanks, Kathy. Hang on. We're going to come back and finish our conversation with Kathy Fettke. This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. We'll be back with you in just a minute.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Thank you for joining us this afternoon as we are very excited to be back live for the first time and almost here, but we are back very excited. Monday through Friday from 3 to 4, you could tune in, KDOW 1220 AM. You could also download the podcast. We're going to give you all kinds of options here. If you can't listen to the live show, the podcast at iTunes or RERadiolive.com. And also, we're going to do live streaming here coming up in the next couple of days, every single day. So keep an eye out for that. All right. Let me get back to my guest. Kathy Fettke has been kind enough to join us. She's the CEO of Real Wealth Network. Kathy joins us every once in a while to check up and give us some insight on markets, investments, real estate in general. But today she's going to talk, we have about 5 or 6 minutes left, talk a little bit about this breach with Equifax. We began in the last segment briefly, but so, Kathy, this is something extraordinary. I did a show on it a couple of weeks ago when it happened, but I think the thing that's most frustrating to most people, and myself personally, is that you would think that a company that makes their business or their living on people's private personal information, boy, you better have everything at your power to protect that. It's not like you're a grocery store or a Macy's or a department store, right? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'm not an expert in internet security, but I do have a friend who is, and just between you and me and everybody listening, she said that it's just getting harder. The hackers are good. I mean, look at what happened. You think they might have wanted to protect data, in the government, and so we saw all this happen with the elections, right?
Yeah.
So hackers are getting good, and we're going to probably be facing more of it. Some people say, "Well, I'm just not going to go online," but the fact of the matter is, if you want to do anything in this world, you're probably going to have your private information online, and it could be there could be a breach. So what you need to do now, and there's a few things that you can do. One is to go to EquifaxSecurity2017.com, EquifaxSecurity2017.com, and you put your name in, and they will monitor your credit for you to see if anybody does indeed try to steal your identity and use it and spend your money, open up credit cards and so forth. And boy, you've got to be on it because credit is everything. Certainly in real estate, leverage can make you very wealthy, and it can also, if someone else is using it, well, it can really mess things up. So, you want to be monitoring at all times. And the good thing is Equifax is offering that for free for anyone who had their information stolen.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Go over more information. I actually went through the process, and there's a process. If you go online, you type in a few things, and it'll come back and tell you there's a chance that your security may have been compromised or something. So then, next step, you have to go and contact them and kind of work your way through it. A lot of people would say, Kathy, I don't know if you have any other suggestions, automatically just put a freeze on everything. Certainly be careful, because if you're getting a loan or you're going to borrow money or get a car loan, that's you're going to have to unfreeze it temporarily. But if you're not, what I'm hearing, what are your thoughts? Put a freeze on it until you could figure out if you were affected.
I think that is helpful, but it's kind of hard to unfreeze it, isn't it? I mean, I think that can be tough. If you're planning on purchasing a house or using your credit, don't freeze it. If you're not planning on it, then that might be a good plan. I've got refinances and purchases, and I'm using my credit, so that wouldn't work for me. But really monitoring it, and a lot of Equifax and the other credit reporting agencies are going to understand if. They're going to understand that if somebody did use your identity, they would be willing to, of course, look into that and help remove those marks on your credit. So, what's so important is to make sure that you be aware that we live in a different age, and theft is going to come in different ways than it used to. You probably aren't going to have someone, steal stuff from your house, but it might be easy for thieves to even get access to your bank accounts and so forth. So, one thing you want to do is not have too much money in any one bank account. Have it spread out. Have it spread among a lot of banks, right? And get, potentially in banks that are outside the U.S. as well. I'm looking into that myself right now to really understand where's the safest place for your money and making sure you're well diversified in everything.
Good point. We have a little less than 2 minutes, Kathy. I want to make sure if you could give those that are listening, Kathy's got some books. She's got a great wealth of information. She helps people find, locate, purchase real estate, all kinds of different things. I would suggest, where's the best place for people to contact you or find out more information about what you're up to, Kathy?
Yeah, you can go to realwealthnetwork.com, and if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area this weekend, we have a live event. I'll be attending there. I'll be hosting it, and we're going to be really going over bulletproof asset protection. So it's right in line with what you're talking about. 2 full days of it. You don't have to come to the full 2 days, but even if you come for an hour, you'll get your mind blown by all the ways you actually can protect yourself and your assets. Again, you can go to realwealthnetwork.com to sign up for that. It's only $10 if you join our Real Wealth Investor Academy, because our academy is $10 a month, and 100% of that goes to charity.
All right, great. So real quick, you'll be here this weekend before we sign off, and they could find out more information by going to your website?
Correct. Yep, just go under the Learn tab, and you can sign up for the event there.
Very good. Hey, Kathy, thanks for joining. I'm sure we'll have you back here in a little bit to catch up and see how things are going. But thanks, and I wish you all the best this weekend and going forward.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Take care of yourself. Kathy Fettke, CEO of Real Wealth Networks. All right. This is Joe Kuchera. Again, we're going to have to sign off. Ran out of time today. It's gone fast. Really look forward to tuning in every single day, listening to you, interacting with all of you. This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Take care and have a great afternoon.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Tune in, log in, download our podcast. Discover more at RERadiolive.com. RERadiolive.com.